Haven't you ever wanted your own creeper doll? Well, I'm about to show you how to make one of your very own. The things you're gonna need to make this are scissors, a measuring tape or ruler, marker or a fabric pen or pencil, a poster board or sheet of paper, depending on what you want to do, and 1 square yard or meter of fabric. Okay, the first thing you want to do is draw on a poster board or a piece of paper 4 shapes. First, the leg, which is 2 inches by 3 inches, the head, which is 4 inches by 4 inches, the body, which is 4 inches by 2 inches, and the foot, which is 2 inches by 2 inches. Then you want to cut these shapes out. You'll have 4 separate pieces. So if you decide that you want to make a stencil because you think that you're going to make a lot more than just one creeper, then you can go ahead and trace out shapes on a poster board. So you could easily just draw your shapes out on the fabric every time you want to make one. And so you want to make 6 head pieces, 4 body pieces, and 16 leg pieces. These go around laterally on the creeper's body. My stencil only shows 4 feet pieces, but you really need 9 pieces. So you want to cut out your stencil, if you made a stencil, and you want to lay out your fabric so you can prep it to have lines drawn on it. And so once you fill in all of the lines, it'll look like this, and you just use a Sharpie for it. And if you didn't make a stencil, the way you would do it is to just trace around your shapes in a way that would fit on your fabric. You also want to make sure that the shapes that you draw are far enough apart from each other so that you have enough seam allowance to sew them together. So now you want to cut your pieces apart. You want to make sure that you keep enough space around all of the black marker lines, because the lines are what you're going to be actually sewing on top of, and they're mostly just for guidance. So for mine, I have about 3/4 of an inch of seam allowance on average on all of my pieces. So now I just stack them up and make sure that they're all together and that I have all the pieces. So what we're going to do is put 2 body pieces together and make sure that their right sides are together. That means that the side that you want facing out are facing each other. And so when you look at them on each side, you will see the black lines. So you just sew right on top of the black lines. And see, this is what it looks like once you've sewn it together. See, on one side you should see all of the black lines, and on the other side you shouldn't see any. So make sure that you look for that. Once you sew 4 rectangles together, it should look like this. You want to take the 4 rectangles and fold them in half and then sew on the edge line. And so you should end up with this tube-like theme. We're going to do the exact same thing, but with the leg pieces. And this will be a little bit time consuming because there are 4 legs, and you need to do this with all of them. Make sure all of the black lines are on one side. So now we're ended up with this tube-like thing. So now we're going to take one of the foot pieces and put it on top of the leg piece on the edge so it's on top, and sew. And so now you see this little flat piece. Make sure that you sewed it on the right way, where the right sides are together. Make sure all of the black lines are on the outside. Another way you could do this is pin it so that you know that it stays in place while you sew it. Make sure not to sew over your pin because that will break your needle. So when you turn it inside out, it'll look like a little foot, like a creeper foot. And that's what it's supposed to look like. So rest assured that it'll come out looking right. So what you want to do is just take the other side, do the same thing once you finish sewing the bottom of the foot, and this is going to be the top of the foot. So now it seems like a little rectangular box, but you want to make sure you leave one side open so you can turn it all inside out through that hole. And see, it looks like a little foot. So you want to take this polyfill, stuffed animal filling thing, or whatever. You can actually use your scraps from your cutting, and you just want to stuff the foot. You want to make sure to stuff the foot before you sew it to the body, definitely. And so you just want to check to see how squishy it is. If you want it to be less squishy, then put more filling in there. So now we're going to do the exact same thing with the head. Gonna do all of the sides, and when you turn it inside out, it'll look like this. So now we're gonna try to sew the top on it just like we sewed the foot on the legs. You want to try to make sure that the black line from the square that you're trying to sew on it matches the other black line to the side of the head, and so it should look like that. But right now the creeper needs a face. You need to make sure to add the face before you end up sewing the bottom square to the creeper. Instead of drawing your creeper face on with permanent marker like I am in the video, you could also cut it out of felt and sew it on. I'm just doing this to save time, and also I don't have any felt. So now we're going to sew the bottom square to the creeper head. This is what attaches to the creeper's neck, and you want to make sure to leave one side unsewed so you can turn it inside out. So this is your creeper head once you've sewn it on all sides except for that one. So you want to stuff the creeper head, definitely. Stuff until it's as squishy as you think it should be. So now this is the creeper body. You want to sew one square to the bottom of it, and that's what's going to attach to the legs. So now you want to stuff the body before you attach it to the head. And again, check for squishiness. So I'm going to use a needle and thread to do all these fine sewing things. So I want to fold these edges in on themselves before I sew them in so they look more natural to the rest of the creeper. So I'm sewing it like this. I know there's more discreet ways to sew. I know there's a blind stitch, but I thought it would be okay to just sew it like this. So now you sew the head hole completely together. So the head is one complete shape. So now what I did is I pinned the edges, I rolled them so they didn't come undone, so I could sew them correctly, so I didn't have any raw edges showing. And so I just went like this, and I just sewed the creeper head to the body. And look, it's a head and a neck. Oh my god! So essentially you want to do the same things for the legs. It's the same kind of idea. I just went to the furthest right point of the leg and I sewed it to the middle of the creeper body. And you want to sew the whole edge to the creeper body. And see, now it's a little creeper leg. Awesome. And now you see a little creeper body. Isn't it so cute? It's so cuddly. Don't you love it? And now you could put it in either dark green, light green. This is what the different kinds of colors of fleece you could use. You could use any other kind of fabric, but I think fleece is the best. So thanks for watching my video of how to make a creeper doll. These would be great for presents or just to keep for yourself. So I'll see you later. This was Shanxstarr. Get your Minecraft on. Bye.